try to talk some politics and some history. Thank you for joining me. I have this channel. I have my other little channel. I've been perusing in another sector. And I wanted to start another channel for talking about politics, but YouTube won't let me. You can only have so many channels per phone number. So, okay, I'm going to try to see if I can launch talking politics, just straight politics on this channel. We'll see. Let's see how this goes. Okay.
20 minutes later.
Lord have mercy. And y'all get on my chat and tell me I'm fucking ignorant.
Oh gosh. Listen, anti-Afro Svengali, this was not going to be ignored. What happened? What's going down here? I'm going to explain everything. So just hang on. I'm going to demonstrate to you. I'm going to point you to the title and I'm going to show you up front what happened with Grandmaster Jay when it comes to his dealings with white folks, getting the attention of white folks. This episode rapidly accelerated. Law enforcement putting their eyes on him, eventually charging him, bringing him to trial, and he's serving a 7-year sentence, messing with these white folks in their territory. This is what Carrie is setting out to do. But I want to show you what happened with Grandmaster Jay. Stay tuned and I will return.
This is my first weapon that I ever bought. This is an XR-15 Shorty. We call it a bullpup because this bitch got kicked to it. This bitch will knock you the fuck down. The interesting thing about this weapon is if I pull back the bolt, see that? See the bolt? There's no bullet in there. Pay very close attention. If I'm not paying attention and I take this weapon and I bang it, look what just happened. The bolt goes forward. The weapon has fired. The weapon has fired.
Hold on, let me try another one. The machine gun is gonna have to work. What? It didn't fire. This gotta work. Oh wait, what's that little lever there? What's that do? Huh.
Congratulations, you just chambered around because the AR fires from the closed bolt position, you fucking idiot!
Okay, Grandmaster Jay, I mean, you try not to laugh, but some of the stuff is so ridiculous that he has said. Along with Carrie, the knowledge is negligible in areas of vital importance, that you can't ignore it. He was out there calling himself a leader of this militia while people are out there open carry in Kentucky protesting on either side of the Breonna Taylor situation, 5 years ago? And here you have errant discharge of firearms at events where he claims he's the leader. It wasn't funny because 3 people had to go to the hospital that got hit by shotgun pellets. And he says, oh, the shotgun was old and the person fell because they were overheated and it went off. Always making excuses. And then you just saw the demonstration now. Carrie is the same way. Engages in recklessness, dangerousness, irresponsible conduct, and wants to get up on the international airwaves and demands that people accept what they're saying and what they're doing. And a lot of it is illegal. Come to find out, he decided he was not going to listen to the police who brought him in. And I know this is why they charged him. They actually brought him in and a few of his other people to make sure he was aware of what was going to be going on the day of the protest. We're going to have federal and deputized officers on the roofs of these buildings. Don't point any weapons toward the roofs. And he did it anyway. He's the only one in the group that did it. So that's why they went so hard for him. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you say. So let's get back to Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann knows that the cops are going to be called on her if she continues to make threats of violence. That's why she got the hell up out of the Umar Johnson sector. So she wants to go over and hang out with these white folks and is not having any better luck. But let's see how long it takes for Carrie Ann to start issuing threats of violence towards white folks, citing the use of firearms. Let's see how many times Carrie Ann will rattle off death wishes. Guarantee you, them white folks are going to report her in mass. It will not be one person who isn't a friend who made a call to address issues of public safety, while the other subjects who claim to be her friend, claim to be down with her, didn't give a shit about her. So she's already going over to this other, whatever she's going, with these white folks, and you see how they're responding to her. She made so many other statements that are just so far beyond comprehension. Calls herself discussing and wanting to do debates while she's criticizing and condemning Charlie Kirk, the man that just lost his life in front of the world, or he died at the hospital rather, but he was shot in front of the world. This is her opportunity to talk about how resentful she is towards intact families. Has a wife, 2 kids, and she decides this is time to trash people who have children. Just goes on, and they're calling her all kinds of names. These white folks who she tried to get up under and act like she's intelligent. No, they know she's ignorant, just like we know she's ignorant. She made so many statements that are far beyond comprehension. I'm going to let you hear some of them. Check this out.
Charlie Kirk was murdered today, allegedly. Well, I mean, he was definitely murdered. I don't know what the circumstances of that will end up being, right? Was he assassinated?
She talks about how she's going to go and debate politics, yet she doesn't know the definition of an assassination. Learn the definition of assassination. No, it doesn't mean interpersonal violence. Your life was taken within the context of you being a public figure or you being famous. That's what assassination is. Learn definitions. Here are a couple more definitions. Check this out. Do you know who this person is? Carrie Ann claims to be a communist, right? Wonder if she can identify this person on the screen. I'm going to show you who the person is in a second. But don't you find it odd that Carrie Ann never talks about what type of ideology of communism she subscribes to? She just speaks in these broad general terms. So here is a person name on the screen that I just showed you, and picture with her husband, Raisa Gorbacheva, former president of the Soviet Union's wife. And she was a philosopher and a professor of Marxism, Leninism, ideology of communism. Wonder if Carrie Ann can even conjure up in her brain what the hell that means. No. There are several ideologies of communism, and they're not tubular, they're not linear. The other interesting thing I want to say about this claim to be a communist, people can have interest in different types of ideologies. They can read, self-teach, do all kinds of things, or they can formalize their training. Those who profess to be experts in these fields, or even a moderate degree of interest and knowledge, many of them speak a foreign language. And you know where the foreign language connects with? It connects to the country. Which ideology interests you? You have people who speak Chinese. They focus on the ideology that's prescribed in communist China. And you have Cuba. I've been to Cuba 7 times. How can you understand the nation's ideology of communism if you don't know how to read and understand or communicate in that language where the journals are written, philosophy is discussed? How would you know? Condoleezza Rice, she speaks Russian, traveled to Russia. Where has Carrie Ann traveled? To what communist nation? She can't even tell you anything about what happens in a communist nation, and she's up here talking about she's a communist. She wouldn't survive in a non-consumer society. It is such a different feel to be in a communist society or a society that is non-consumer. This is someone who's bragging about spending $500 on a wig. Even if she didn't spend $500 on a wig, what communist would do that? That's ridiculous. She only makes these statements to try to see if she can get people to ask her more about it, which she doesn't even understand what she's talking about. Now, I got one other quiz before I move on. I'm not expecting just anyone to identify the flag and what nation this flag goes with. I won't keep you waiting for too long. This is a flag of the former East Germany. And the former East Germany identified as the German Democratic Republic. How is that? Can Carrie Ann even explain to you all how communist nations assert to have democracy? Think about that concept. She doesn't have a clue. She's only talking out of her ass, or excuse me, stank booty bigot ass. And the white folks knew they have a fraud on their hands. That's why she got the hell up out of there. But notice when she's referring to her experience over there, she's extremely angry. I want to let you hear more of her nonsense. Now we're coming to the domestic side of things. Listen to this madness.
And another one of these delusional fantasies that Charlie Kirk pumps into you fucking idiots who refuse to read a book that wasn't handpicked for you to tell you you're such a special boy because you're white and Christian. You special little boy. You're such a good boy from such a good culture, right? Where you believe that traditionally women didn't work, you fucking idiots. Bitch, I have free healthcare. I'm a veteran. I feel sorry for you. You the one who, even if you have private health care, if you get cancer, you gonna go bankrupt. That's your situation you in. I got socialized health care. Breast cancer running my family. I had to go get a lumpectomy last year. Total cost of the procedure, just that one procedure, not including all the mammograms, all that shit, $30,000. My copay on private insurance would have been $6,000. But guess what? I got socialized healthcare. Free, bitch. Does that make me lazy? No. No, I'm not lazy. I just got socialized healthcare. Now, imagine if I had a heart attack. Average cost, $100,000. Average copay, 20 grand. How many people in my chat telling me that healthcare would make people lazy got 20 grand to spend on a heart attack? But I'm the ignorant one. Meanwhile, I got health care for the rest of my life. But I must be lazy. That's why I'm advocating for the poor. Charlie Kirk did more for black people than me, right? That's the type of shit y'all white nationalists sit around telling yourselves, right?
I want to start with what she said about Charlie Kirk. Now, I do not know Charlie Kirk as far as his leanings, like in detail. I heard of his name, but I've never followed him or anything like that. I was aware that a lot of people do. But one thing I never did hear, I'm sure I would have heard, you all would have heard it, if he threatened to kill somebody because they disagreed with him. If he cursed somebody out and called them out of their name and talked about the mama and the kids because there was a disagreement on a point. Someone who is highly intolerant of any other view. I don't know any fascists that go around the country and say, change my mind, convince me, Let's sit down and debate. Let me hear you out. She doesn't even understand what the term is. Is that an attitude that Carrie Ann has? No, you hear her cursing these people out. She's cursing out these white folks because they wouldn't kiss her ass. Again, I didn't follow Charlie Kirk, but I think her putting this photo up, this picture up, saying he's a fascist, proves she doesn't even know what the definition is. Like I said a second ago, she goes about making statements and using these words, claiming to know what these philosophies and these ideologies represent, and she has no clue. She is the one that is race attacking. She is the one who's a bigot. Now, I don't know about Charlie Kirk. Has he ever gotten up there and race attacked anybody? Just because he doesn't agree with DEI, that means he is a racist and a race attacker? I most certainly debate that one, because I think the DEI was set up just to give minorities a job so they can take the job away from them later on. And a lot of what DEI addresses is covered by the Civil Rights Act and equal opportunity employment laws. Carrie Ann is the one who's the race attacker and the bigot.